Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be checking out Hotfix 1.22 of Cyberpunk 2077 on the RTX 2070 and see whether it fixed the issues that were present on patch 1.2, where we had a few compromising issues regarding teleporting and floating objects and stuff of that sort. So let's jump right into the game. We're out in the countryside. Let's check the settings first, make sure everything is maxed out, and again, the only thing that's not fully maxed out is the screen space reflections, which would be overkill for the 2070 either way. So we're going with a balanced high ultra preset, ray tracing on ultra settings, and DLSS set on quality. So that's about it. And yeah, let's hop back into the game, see how it behaves. Well, at first glance I can tell I've gained about 10 FPS, give or take, compared to the previous benchmark. I was using about 40 something here. Same place, same situation pretty much. So yeah, perhaps performance did get better, but still too early to tell. We gotta drive into the city and see whether that remains or if we will suffer performance drops, as it was, you know, the per usual basis of Cyberpunk basically. So yeah, frames just dropped a little bit. We're approaching fire, which is demanding. Oh my, okay. See, so yeah, so you can tell fire does seem to drop the frames a little bit. You can tell it's very stuttery, but that does not matter really, because we need to get to the city. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, 43, 44, more in line with the figures of the past. So as you can tell, nothing really mind-blowing on that aspect. But yeah, let's race to the city as fast as I possibly can, because we still need to test with ray tracing off as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a double benchmark this time. We're gonna be testing both ray tracing on and off, make sure that the figures are still in line with the figures that we've seen previously. I was quite happy with the figures that I got on 1.2, but the issues were concerning, to say the very least. So there's that, which didn't. Oh my God, what the hell is that? Okay, that was weird. Anyway, I was happy with the performance. Honestly, the numbers were pretty much in line with what I was expecting, but I wasn't very happy with how the NPCs were behaving. Like ambient temperature, IQ for the AI, which wasn't really cool. Yeah, we had quite a massive drop there while nearly getting to the city. Okay, so we're finally in Night City again. Surroundings, outskirts of Night City, and you can tell frames are already not as impressive, but yeah, 44. Considering, once again, we have ray tracing set on ultra, so there's that. Ray tracing is very demanding. This card is definitely not able to handle ultra ray tracing at 60 plus anywhere. It doesn't matter. No game would run at 60 plus under such settings. So perhaps it's in line with what the RTX 2070 could in fact deliver, because of course we are asking too much of it, honestly. But no, I won't take that call. Sorry, taxi man, but let's walk around now. Enough car driving. Let's see if the frames change, if we got a more. Let's see if the frames got a little more tame now that we are just walking around instead of just, you know, driving.
Appreciate it if you didn't make this difficult.
Okay, V. If you could stop talking, please. Okay, that's better. 53. Yeah, we've got an increase already, which of course it's quite expected because we're not loading anything anymore. We're not like, you know, driving at high speed, just walking. So obviously the frames would settle. Near the fire, it still drops, which well, that happens with most games. Honestly, fire is very demanding. Once we're out of the line, still no, didn't get better, honestly. 43, but then again, that's a very demanding configuration. We're running a very demanding setting. That's honestly too much for the 2070. So far I haven't seen any major glitches, which is a good thing. I mean, considering last time within like 5 minutes I saw like floating objects and stuff, so that's a plus. So far nothing really out of the ordinary, which is good. But then again, still too early to say, hey, they fixed it. They've gotten rid of all the major spawning issues, because we're just gotten into the city. And as you can see, the AI is still brain dead as always. Like there's shooting going around there, and they're just like, oh, I'm scared. Look at me, I'm scared. Like, what the hell is this? This is not human behavior at all. Makes me wonder, honestly. I mean, they talked a lot about how the NPCs would be so complex and convincing and all that. While in fact, they're actually so dumb and shallow and everything that you wouldn't want to see in a 2020 game. It's just disappointing. All around, very disappointing. But yeah, I guess I can live with that, honestly. At least, like, they got new guitar, right? That's a plus. Look at that. The finger animations are actually proper, which is surprising. I mean, you can tell they've really gone extra mile on detail, which is a good thing. But where they really should have gone the extra mile, they didn't. When it comes to, you know, the overall quality of the story, the overall quality of the gameplay, the overall NPC behavior. I mean, it's pretty cool that they can play guitar like they would in real life, but is that what makes the game? I don't think so. They should have shifted their priorities to stuff that actually matters, which would be, of course, making them feel more organic, more natural, more convincing, which they definitely don't feel right now. And that really kills the whole point of the game, because you want to feel immersed in the massive city environment and feel like you're part of it, when in fact you're just an external factor that really they're completely unaware of you. And that's something I've mentioned multiple times, even during my first benchmark. I said that, and I keep repeating that because it's something that really should be enforced. This doesn't feel immersive enough, and here we have another issue. We have a floating not a traffic light specifically, I don't know the name of that in English, but still it's floating. Look at that, that's disappointing. Perhaps that's intended, but I'm not really sure. And we've seen, oh, 73. Oh, okay, so yeah, the frames go up massively when we look to the sky. Nice, look at that, great. Look, ray tracing, 87 FPS. Yeah, I suddenly got it turning 90 here. No. Anyway, I think it's time to turn ray tracing off and see how the frames will compare. And also mind RAM usage, CPU usage, all of that. So I'm gonna be going on settings and saying goodbye to ray tracing for now. Let's see, ray tracing. Oops. Oh yeah, it's off. Great. So ray tracing is gone, and we have 80 FPS. So basically double the performance. And quality has gotten better, of course, because the DLSS can finally have like a little bit of breathing room on its sense. So yeah, quality has got massively better. You can look at the vegetation mostly, and like the buildings like far away. You can tell they've gotten better, and yeah. Performance is in line with the previous figures, honestly, with ray tracing off, with its usual glitches like this floating thing, which I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be floating. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's actually floating. I've just never noticed it, but I don't think it's supposed to be floating. No. Anyway, let's keep walking around because we got a lot to see. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, it's been a couple weeks since my last Cyberpunk video, and I have a lot of things to say. Lots and lots of observations on that regard, on that performance note, and also the bugs that I hope were finally killed, fixed once and for all, because patch 1.2, which was supposed to fix and address a lot of the problems, actually made the game worse for me, as I mentioned, and you can see in the video. Like, I played through the whole story, never had a single major issue, and then as soon as I updated to 1.2, suddenly I had floating stuff, NPCs spawning out of nowhere. That was weird. But yeah, first glance, it does seem like they've fixed that problem, which is a good thing. So I'm very satisfied with that. Performance is still, you know, it didn't really gain frames. So on that regard, nah, I wouldn't say, look at that. It's still kind of weird. Like, look at them guys crossing, bro. Like, what the hell is going on there? Like, they're still, like, they feel like zombies, honestly, like a horde of zombies. Perhaps if, you know, CDPR were going for like a Daisy-ish kind of game, but like single player, like a RPG with zombies, they would have gotten more praise, honestly, because that AI is just brilliant for zombies, but not so much for human beings that actually have a functional brain, because they just, you know, look at that. It's just, what the hell is going on? Like, are they all wounded or something? What's going on here? I don't understand. Really don't. But yeah, it's refreshing to see that finally it's not as broken anymore. So Hotfix 1.22 is finally a hotfix. The definition of it actually fixes stuff instead of breaking stuff, which seems like they're sort of modus operandi now, you know. It's a hotfix, but instead of fixing, it screws things up more, and then you know, you get more and more angry at them, and at some point you just give up and uninstall the game and swear to never play it again, only to find yourself playing it again because you're a gamer. You want to, you know, it's a cool new game, it looks great, you want to give it another shot, and then it disappoints you again, and you uninstall, and it's a rinse and repeat made of frustrations which keep happening over and over and over and over and over and over again. So yeah, but yeah, ray tracing off does make things a lot better. That's the definite experience. So if you have a 2070, perhaps ray tracing is not really the way to go. As I said before, for sightseeing, for just walking around, ray tracing is fine, it's really okay. But what the hell is going on here? What in tarnation? Oh, there's a gang fight. Amazing. I'm not gonna be part of it now because, you know, we have stuff to do. As much as I would love to shoot some guys, we have some talking to do still on that Cyberpunk note. But yeah, so basically the main problem here is it's still, I want to say performance is the main concern now. Like, as I was saying before, ray tracing for the 2070 might not be the thing if you really want to play the game, because sub 60 is kind of concerning for, you know, shooting people, makes it a little harder. For sightseeing, if you just want to walk around, take pictures, you know, just drive around and vibe, perhaps, yeah, okay, that could work. For playing the game itself, going through the story, I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. Perhaps time to say goodbye to ray tracing and say hello to no ray tracing. Back to the good old standard, where you can actually have more than 60 at all times, which is great. So they've fixed most of the drops. Now you're going to be looking at a very solid experience with minor performance issues, minor drops. It will still happen. You know, at random times it will still tank a little bit, but it won't compromise the gameplay as much as it would back in the day, so that's a good thing. They are finally addressing that. And back to that other note I was talking about, the only problem still with Cyberpunk, which I think they should make it their main priority, is fixing the goddamn NPCs. I mean, the problem is they would be smart and they would have like their own routines and stuff, and that's not what happens. So I really wish they could actually give some attention on that regard and finally make NPCs that are convincing, not like dumb and depressing like they are now. Because as I see it, as it currently stands, it's a little weird, honestly. Like, what the hell? It's a 2020 game and they're just dumb. There's a comparison between Cyberpunk NPCs and Half-Life cockroaches from 98. And the cockroaches were actually smarter. A 98 game. Like, we're talking 23 years ago. That's not, we're not comparing it to something from, like, let's say 10 years ago, like Skyrim, even, which has better NPCs actually. Well, we were talking about Half-Life from 98. Like, it shouldn't be acceptable at all that AI from 2020, so-called advanced AI, because they did make that claim that it would be advanced as heck, and it is not. That's the problem. If you're gonna make a claim, you better back that claim with facts and science, and that's not happening. You don't see that in practice. When, you know, when they make that claim, oh, you're gonna have super advanced AI, they're gonna be very smart, they're gonna have their very own routines, they're gonna behave so realistically, they're gonna wonder, hey, is this real life or a game? Wow, that's amazing. When in fact, it just keeps reminding you all the time that it's a goddamn game, because the AI is so dumb and so lifeless and so shallow. It's ridiculous. Like, actually, they make such claims and they cannot back it. So I really hope they can fix that and finally give us what they promised. Because people bought this game believing it would be a truly next-gen experience with, you know, next-gen AI as well. Because that's part of the experience. Like, if you want to deliver the full experience, you better fix that shit. Because people are going to be mad. They are already mad. So as a compensation, make it work. Goddamn, just fix it. You know? Like, performance is okay at this point. I mean, it's not like okay per se, but I've come to terms with it. It's a demanding game. It's a large environment. There's a lot going on. You cannot expect it to run flawlessly like a dream. It would be nice. It would be amazing. That's for sure. But honestly, it is not everything. I mean, performance is great. It's always nice to see your game running flawlessly, but hey, it is running okay. It's fully playable at this point. As much as it has drops every now and then, it's a game you can play from start to finish without any major compromises. I played it. I survived. I didn't have any issues. There were no moments where I couldn't actually get through a phase because, oh, my frames were so low that I couldn't aim. No, that did not happen. So that's not concern. You can actually play through the entire game. That's the whole point. As long as the game is playable, you know, that's fine. But for God's sake, just fix the AI, because at the moment it just breaks the whole thing. Like, you're so lifeless and dumb. It angers me. Look at how it, like, they're just like stumbling on each other. Like, what the hell? Is this the next gen experience that they've all been talking about? Like, is this really outstanding, groundbreaking AI work? AI that spawns in front of you, AI that stumbles on each other, AI that clips through stuff, and you know, they are completely unaware of everything. Like, actually oblivious to the world. They're just straight up retarded. Pardon for the word. I know I shouldn't use it in a demeaning manner, but I'm just trying to make a point here. So yeah, basically, huge, massive disappointment on that regard. So as much as performance is being addressed and they're fixing some of the issues that the game had, like the most obvious things are being fixed, that's great. Look, Just spawned in front of me. Again. But yeah, I haven't seen any clipping so far, which is a good thing. Finally, for once, no clipping. Amazing. But, yeah, I really wish for the next major patch that they actually improve the AI once and for all. It's not, I don't want like mega smart AI, like big brain AI that, wow, so convincing, but at very least don't stumble on each other, that don't really behave like zombies, like brainless zombies. Just make them actually act human. It's not that hard. I mean, older games done that very well, like Grand Theft Auto 4 had proper AI already. Why can't you guys do it? Like, you guys done something similar with The Witcher and it was okay. Like, just copy and paste that into this and it will work. Like, The Witcher AI was fine. They were doing their things, okay, they were not like, they didn't have like that bunch of, a lot of freedom that you would expect. Like, they were locked to whatever they were doing, so I was near their houses doing like, I don't know, farm work or whatever, or carpentry, whatever you know. But they were convincing. That was the point. You would never like look at it and think, God damn it, so robotic. Like, feels like a goddamn zombie, brainless shit. No, you were like, okay, yeah, I can totally see that happening. I can totally picture myself in a village from like the, I don't know, middle age, whatever. But you know, I could totally picture myself walking there and, you know, encountering such interesting individuals and doing their things, and didn't feel out of place, didn't feel weird. But when it comes to Cyberpunk, it's just so, like, look at that, they're all like so brain dead. They don't have a purpose, that they're just there, you know. It's like they, like, what's the point of it all? Like, look at that. They're all random. They behave extremely randomly. But yeah, that's not even the point of the video. It's a benchmark. I keep rambling on that. No, you know, I was hitting the same key, but it's really something that annoys me a lot. But yeah, 66. Like, yeah, we haven't had any major drops of, oh. It's funny, you know, I mentioned it and it happened. Ain't it amazing? Like, the moment I mentioned that we didn't drop below 60, it drops below 60, but it was just briefly for like a few seconds, so that's great. Performance did get better. No floating stuff so far. We tested ray tracing on, we tested ray tracing off. So far, so good. On that note, not so good, like literally so good, because I'm not very satisfied with the AI behavior still. But yeah, performance wise, they're doing a great job. It's addressed. Look, CPU usage is much higher now as well, so that's a good thing. You can see the CPU working a lot harder. It's a great thing. And visuals are still as amazing as ever. I mean, there's a little bit of grainy shit because of the DLSS, but still very convincing enough, one could say. Shadows, you know, look fantastic as usual. My only major problem with this game, biggest pet peeve, being the NPCs being so dumb. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. I'm really sorry if I didn't cover more of that sooner, because I'm busy with university stuff. Life has been really busy, so I really hope that could have helped you guys out. You know, if you're wondering whether you should re-download Cyberpunk and play it again, give it another shot, perhaps you should. Honestly, now it's fully, oh my god, guys are gonna go straight through me, nice. But yeah, it's finally there. On that note, that you can actually play the game without any major drops now, with ray tracing off. Ray tracing on, still just a novelty, just for walking around and, oh look, graphics are so nice, but not for actual gameplay. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and